back to the Endgame, where we dive into the hottest games, news, and hot topics about your favorite games and our favorite games. Today, we have here your host, Billion. We have Hacker number 7 here with me. We have Caveman, we have Shells, and we have LZ in the building. If you live this long to see it, you are now living in one of the most historic times we have ever seen in the gaming industry. GTA 6 has now entered the chat. With so much buzz going around this game and its release, which one of you guys here have pre-ordered the game?
Oh, you know I did.
Midnight.
Ain't no way I missed out on history.
Yeah, it's critical, bro. Absolutely critical.
Pre-order. So y'all pre-ordered the game online on the PlayStation Store, Xbox, or did you go into the store physically and put in a pre-order?
What do you mean physically? They selling it only digitally.
Yo, that's probably the most diabolical thing about the whole situation, honestly, man. Like, but I went on a PSN store and just like, as soon as it was available, they had my $100, man. They had my $100.
So you went with the unlimited edition, huh? That $100 edition.
Yeah, which like we just touched on. Honestly, like I feel like we should get a physical copy, man. And it's quick side note. Apparently, there's a company that took shots. What's the name of that? There's a company that took shots. Shells, you mentioned it. I think you dropped it in the chat where they were like, I forget the name of the company that was like, yeah, our games are gonna have the physical disc.
Insomniac, I think it was.
Yeah, which was wow, bro. The shots are being fired right now. It's crazy.
GTA is got the beef started up right now.
I don't know about y'all. I ain't trying to beef with GTA.
Rockstar can let their money beef with GTA, you know?
Yeah. So who else pre-ordered it?
At least 3 out of 5.
I actually pre-ordered the game, but I went into GameStop, very historic because of the nostalgia of pre-ordering games and pre-ordering the GTA 5, and that came with a collector's edition. So I'm actually concerned that there's no collector's edition for GTA 6, but for that reason, I went into store and I put down a pre-order in store just in case, because if they do get a collector's edition or a different version, then they will transfer your pre-order to that copy that you want. So I'm just thinking ahead,
What if that collector's edition comes out afterwards? Because I did hear that, they plan on eventually making a physical copy of the game.
That's what I heard too, yeah. That they're that it's going to come in waves, essentially. It's going to release in like December or something like that.
That's what I was hearing too, but I'm gonna just go ahead and be the black sheep and say that I
man.
Hold on, wait a minute.
Let's somebody kick this guy out the chat.
Man, we just got canceled.
Hold on, turn your mic on. We didn't hear that.
Say that again. This guy.
I didn't catch it. What did you say, Shells?
I did not pre-order Grand Theft
Auto. For the record,
I want to say, I got a question for you on that. Did actually? Did you guys? Was there like a special advantage? Was there like a perk to pre-ordering it, or were you guys just thirsty?
Actually, we were just thirsty, but
hey, there you go.
Yo, side note, where Shells goes. Side note, when Shells is like, he gave me a Bill Clinton moment. He was like, I did not pre-order this game. I was like, yo.
No, but I think seriously though, there are some perks to pre-ordering. If you pre-order the game, you do get a few things, not much, but
for pre-ordering.
You do get a few things for pre-ordering. Not much, but I think the ultimate version is really where you get the advantages as far as some garages that won't be available to the standard edition. You get I think 3 vehicles. You get a vehicle for the main character, Jason, I think his name is.
So I don't remember who the people or the vehicles and stuff are for. Probably either one. But.
I know the female. Her name is Lucia. Don't remember the guy's name drop,
Jason.
but I
It's
do.
Jason.
Oh,
Jason.
So
Jason. So
I got a
send me a list.
controversial take for you guys that pre-ordered it.
Yes, sir.
I mean, obviously, you guys are obviously thirsty for pre-ordering, but
I'm gonna
I
need you to stop
think
saying thirsty. Come on, bro. We just wanted to be a part of history.
well, so I
History, bro.
think
History,
the
bro.
problem I'm
It,
seeing is the fact that like we haven't seen any real gameplay or anything about the game at all,
That is
and the fact
facts.
that they're doing this whole thing where they're doing the paywall, they're locking content behind the paywall, and then it's like, and then you're not. There's no physical copies, so it's like in a world where it's all digital. Then what's like why offer them your money before you see anything, you really see anything of substance at all. And it's like, hey, it's digital. You're not going to run out of copies. Everyone's going to get a download. I get no special perks, but hey, here's my money in advance. Just give up your money.
Gotta show
and
your support, bro.
and
That
that's
it's kind of like
exactly
one of those. It's kind of like one of those great Tesla moments. I think it's the what was the Tesla?
The Cybertruck, I think it was.
Nah. It was the one that's supposed to have like a 0.9 second or
It's
something like that, like
the
sub one.
Oh, the Roadster.
Tesla
The
Roadster.
The Roadster, yeah, the new Roadster or whatever. Like people have had their money. I think you had to put like five or 6 grand down or something like that.
They had to put 50, I think.
50 grand. Okay, so yeah, so like not a small chunk of change. You know what I'm saying? So like people pre-ordered that car and have been waiting. What? I think it was supposed to release in
Years.
2017. Like that was like,
Years.
you know what I'm
For
saying?
that.
So like I think that was right around. I could be wrong on a release date for it, but like it's and actually I think one guy in Europe circled back and sued to get his money back. And I heard that story like a couple years ago. But I mean, but circling back to GTA though, I agree with you. I do think that one of the things that's sort of it's kind of shady. I think a lot of folks have gripes about not seeing any real gameplay. But here's what I'll say. I will say, and not taking shots at any other console developers and gaming companies out there, but for example, State of Decay 3 is right now getting ready to get released, and that game has been on hold for a while. They put that game in pre-alpha, and they started showcasing a lot of the capabilities or whatever in that game. People started eating them alive through one of the YouTubers that was kind of like streaming and showing the early footage. And I think what Strauss Zelnick, the CEO of Take-Two, takes an approach on is we don't want to show the product before it's finished and have a skewed opinion of it, because we've seen other companies do the same thing and rush through development, 2, rush to show the gameplay. And now not only did you rush to develop the game and you showed either unrealistic capabilities or that wasn't necessarily in the game and you had to pull those things out because they didn't get finished or something like that. And then now you have to ship something where the consumer now feels like they've been sort of gypped as a result of that. I think so to combat that though, I think the fact that one of the things that makes me feel a little bit not necessarily, safe about pre-ordering, and by the way, I don't generally pre-order. One of the things that makes it feel safe to me about pre-ordering is that how long the game has been in development. If they screw this up, considering their run of Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2, great games, great graphics, great foundation of their game development engine, and they mess this up, oh man, you just throw them out with the bathwater, man. Throw them out with the bathwater.
You
That's
just
the last
touched
time.
on the
It
thing.
will be an Anthem moment for me where I'm like, I think Anthem, by the way, and I think this is like the second or third episode I brought up Anthem now, but like
Second or
Anthem
third?
was almost every episode, but Anthem was the breaking point for me where I was like, okay, like I'm no longer pre-ordering any game whatsoever. So if they mess this up, man, and they don't deliver in the way that they're supposed to, I think the gaming community, considering how much of a pedestal that this game sits on, will ruin gaming and ruin the way that companies are viewed by the consumer. And considering that the consumer is getting smart anyway, or much smarter about the way that these companies operate today. So I don't know. It's risky. It's risky.
You touched on the thing that I was gonna say. It's like there's a history with Rockstar. If you just look at those games, like everything that that hacker mentioned, they've all been solid. What makes you think they're going to change it now? Right? Like if they got that history down, I understand they might add some stuff. Maybe not everything is your cup of tea, but they got a history of making good games. And yeah, the fact that it's been in development for so long, we expect to see a ton of stuff. I can't wait.
And honestly,
I just
we did see a little bit of footage with the leak too, right? Because like, I mean, I don't know if you guys went through and actually looked from the 2022 leaks, but that was what 4 almost 5 years ago now.
Technically, there was gameplay in the trailers too.
Yeah, there was yeah.
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 Granted, it seemed more. How could I say it? It seemed more that gameplay was more cinematic gameplay and not
There
like
was
real actual
very
gameplay.
no, there was very little actual gameplay in there. But they did say that it was in game. So it's, yes, you're seeing the in game cutscenes and very little actual gameplay. I mean, like it literally might have been Jason walking through a door or something like that. There's like
Yeah.
very little gameplay.
Yeah.
but at
Yeah,
the
I mean,
same
like I said, if you saw the
too, it's
leaks,
like-
you saw some gameplay. Right.
But the
I
thing is,
did not.
those leaks were like in 2022. That it's a
Yeah.
totally different game right now, bro. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So and that's why too. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's why I haven't pre-ordered it yet, because it's like it's not like it's physical. It's not like they're giving us anything that's tangible. Like, oh, limited edition of this. You know what I'm saying?
What you mean tangible? You get the status of saying I pre-ordered it. I'm gonna have that on the shirt.
and you still gotta wait all the way until November 19th. You can't, like, they're not giving you a beta version of the game early, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You still gotta wait. And there's nothing that they're giving us that's like saying, hey, you know what, like you get this statue if you pre-order right now. That's what I'm saying. And I just kind of feel like as a fan, I'm not trying to knock Rockstar or anything like that, but I kind of feel like because people have waited so long, I feel like there should be something more than the cars and the garages, and those are stuff that are in the game that you can receive. So I just kind of feel like if you what I'm gonna do is wait until November or maybe October, and then I'll pre-order the game. You know
Dang,
what I'm saying?
October. You gonna wait a whole month for it.
Bro, we can't play the game now. Nobody can play the game now, bro.
That's solid. That's
He
solid.
has a solid point.
That's
Like,
fair. That's fair.
Literally download it the moment it releases, download it, and we'll still play at the same time.
like
That's fair. That's fair. That's
it-
fair.
it's not like y'all can play it tomorrow or the week after, bro. Y'all gotta
That's,
But, I
that's-
mean,
that's understandable, bro. That's understandable.
I-
But and for what like Shells is saying, what game have you pre-ordered that you receive something right now? That's the whole point of the pre-order. You pre-order for the
What you
event
mean?
that's coming up. Like, did,
Bro,
did,
there,
did you
there
order?
has been
like-
games. There has
You
been
go to pre-order
games,
to
bro.
secure your copy.
Yeah,
Which
pre-order
doesn't
secure a
exist.
copy. But
But
did
yeah,
you pre-order
but-
Wolverine? Did you receive something for pre-ordering Wolverine?
I haven't pre-ordered Wolverine yet, and the thing
But if
is,
you were
this
to, he's gonna get a physical copy.
yeah, I'm gonna get a physical copy, but
And
there's
he's gonna
certain things.
secure his copy. In this case here, you're gonna get a copy regardless.
Yeah, because you can pre-order at GameStop, but then you can also pre-order digitally on the PlayStation Store. So it's
So
like,
there's
what's
a
the
difference pre-ordering at GameStop and the PlayStation Store because since I ordered at GameStop, if you pre-order from the PlayStation Store, you have to pay the full price, that $100, that $99.99. If you pre-order at GameStop, like I did, you only got to put $5 down, baby.
Okay.
So
I mean,
So
I get that. I understand that. So the only difference is one, you have to pay full outright. The other is like you only get to pay $5 down. You get to pay it in increments. Cool, I get that. But you're still, bro. You're getting a case with a code, fam. Like the disrespect, bro. I'm just saying.
I do
Like,
agree
so-
with that. I do agree with that.
I mean, there's still gonna be a physical copy. You said so since you said you might wait till October. I mean, you might have to wait until. I mean, not October. You might have to wait till December. for the physical copy if you're trying to get the
Well,
Ultimate Edition.
I'm not gonna say I'm gonna wait until December because I don't even think that's set in stone. I'm gonna pre-order the game and get the digital version. Now I'm gonna be the type of person.
Then why
Yes.
the gripe? Why the gripe, man? Why the gripe? Why the gripe on pre-order, man? You capping, bro.
Man, doing a bunch of talking just to say he's gonna do it anyway.
No, I'm just saying. I don't have. Listen, I'm not. The thing is, what's the point of me paying right now when I could go?
What's the point of you paying in October or like right before? It's the same thing.
I will say this, because we talked about the things that we might get and might not get. I think one kind of benefit, and I appreciate Rockstar and Take-Two for not doing this, because I think this is something that I really don't care for, is like getting paid content. You know what I'm saying? Like for ordering the game ahead of time or getting earlier access. That's kind of like it feels like pay to play a little bit. You know what I'm saying? If you have the if you pay for the pre-order and you get the access to the game like 2 days early or something like that, like that's kind of pay to play, and you kind of block people out. So the fact that you don't get nothing, I will say this: it's kind of like going to GameStop really and doing a midnight release, honestly, right? Because like why not go in next morning or whenever you're available at the same thing? It's the same concept, just kind of like on a digital format.
Now
So
you do.
like
This is okay. So let me say this, right, bro. In almost every Grand Theft Auto game, when you buy the game, you get a map. You get the front cover, and then you get the map on the
Solid.
back. Why is it that on this
That's what
one,
you get.
after so
But
many
they did not
years,
state that they're not including a map. They just stated that they won't be a disc in the box. They never said
And
that there won't be a
That's true.
manual. They never said that there won't be a map or any of that.
that's true, but I mean, I don't know, but I just feel like
So hold on. Let me ask you something. If there is everything that you expect minus disc, are you good with that?
as in we're getting
Like manual
a map
map, everything else, like in the box. Just
I mean,
just no physical disc.
I'm still not gonna be satisfied. because
Still
I feel
salty,
like-
got you.
So I think Shells really falls into the two camps that really exist today, right? Like Caveman is all hands down on everything digital. I'm like, ownership rights. You know, like I'm paying for a license to play. And I think Shells falls into that opposite camp where it's like, nah, full ownership rights, or I don't own it, or give me that physical disc or whatever.
Bro,
But there's a
You don't
I'm
own
sorry
them
to cut
either.
you. I
No, go
apologize,
ahead.
Hacker, but it's just this is a passionate thing. It's just like if for something for a game like this is, you might as well just call it a national holiday. That I just kind of feel like, bro, okay, at least give us a steel case. Give us a steel case at least.
which I think is coming out in like December though. That's the thing, is they have a
But-
delayed
but-
thing, right? Like
But see, we don't even know 100% know that if they are.
no, I think it's I think they came out after the fact and they confirmed it. I'll double back to
Yeah.
that, but they did confirm it, right?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, they're gonna come out with a physical copy. We just don't know, or I think
When?
later on. Now,
Yeah, I think the Ultimate Edition, which I think this is where it really tripped up people who are falling in that physical disc camp, where it's like, okay, if I want the physical stuff and I want all of the stuff that comes with the Ultimate Edition and all the extra stuff, I gotta pay for the game twice.
Well, we paid for
so, like,
GTA 5
Hey,
3 times.
Listen,
You're right.
Billion is right.
I'm not gonna lie. I paid for GTA at least 3 times, bro. Like GTA 5, I paid for it 3 times. Like PS3, PS4, and PS5. So
I think they're trying to get us to pay for it twice right off the rip instead of
right
making
off the
us
bat.
wait, you know what I'm saying, like we did before.
That's crazy.
Just to circle back to what Shells was saying about what we get for the pre-order. Like I said, we do get a couple things for the pre-order, not much, but something that's tangible or that you get right now is you get 1 month free of GTA Plus. If you still do play GTA 5, which I still do play GTA 5, and you get 1 month of GTA Plus free. And that also comes with like 50,000 or something like that, dollars or something like that, or $500,000. You get access to the Vinewood Car Club with the GTA Plus. So there are a couple things that you do get right now. That's tangible. Unlike some other games, if you do pre-order them, you get nothing. So I just wanted to clear the air because you were saying you're not
He is
receiving
right about
anything right
that.
now, but
There
you
is
really
something.
are.
I don't
To
see
be
it,
fair,
bro.
though, if you pre-ordered Madden 2026 and you got credits to play Madden 2025, you'd be like, yeah, I don't really care about that. I'm about to be off this very soon. Give me something towards the thing I'm about to be on that I'm about to buy 4, 5, 6 times.
Bro, like give me something that I can remember where I could be like, yo, at this time in 2026, in November 19th, bro, I was at the release of this game. I got this and I received that, and you get this. You
To be
can't
fair,
say that.
Before we continue, I did jump onto the website and I'm taking a look, and it says pre-order bonuses. So it says welcome back to Vice City, featuring a timeless 55 vapid Stainer sedan, a garage alongside Ocean Beach, decadent outfits and hairstyles for both Jason and Lucia, an iconic weapon pattern that echoes the excess of the past. So looks like, and I think somebody kind of hinted at this like really early on, we're getting like the garage, getting the outfits and stuff like that. So there are some pre-order bonuses that you do get for pre-ordering the game that you might not necessarily get after the fact.
So you
But
get
bro,
something now and something later.
what that sound like is what that sounds like is like, okay, if you pre-order it, if you get the $100, which is the ultimate, you get that stuff, right? But I guarantee you, later on, that stuff is gonna be available to purchase in the game.
It's
That's true.
available to purchase
Yeah,
right now.
I think they made that point. I think they already made that point too. It's
Whether
like you'll pay the extra $20. You can pay the extra $20 at any time. Yeah.
It
so
won't
you
be
can get the
available to purchase in the
standard,
game. It's
and
not available to purchase in the game. It's available for an upgrade. You can buy the standard version, but for you to get some of those things or the access to these garages, you need to pay for the upgrade. It's like buying a map pack for Call of Duty. Call of Duty comes out, we play multiplayer, and then they drop a new map pack where they drop 5 new maps. You need to pay for that.
yeah, nah, but that's what I'm saying though. It's like, so you don't have to be in a rush and be like, okay, I need this now. You can get the standard, and it'll probably be available sitting there to purchase. Shoot, it might even be there to purchase the same day that the game
But
releases.
why get the standard when you can have the ultimate?
No, hey,
Was that a Thanos voice real quick, Rob?
listen,
Yeah.
I understand.
are those
I
perks for
understand.
pre-ordering or for getting the ultimate version?
Those are just pre-order perks.
Yeah,
Well, no,
the
that's-
ones that
that's
I
the
listed were just
clarification.
pre-order perks. Yeah.
Okay,
The
so
ones that
that's what I want
the
to make
things that I
sure.
listed were just pre-order perks. Yeah. The ultimate version has a bunch of other things I think that are included, and I think this is where it tripped people up because like, what do you get in the ultimate version? I think it was like actual access. Now, to actual access to like
Things in the
buildings
game.
and like things, yeah, essentially a paywall to like
Content.
content in the game, yeah, which is wild. And I have a little bit of an interesting take on this. So, and it's related to the links. Like I don't know if you guys heard about the mapping community that has been mapping out all of GTA,
Yes, the
GTA
mapping
6
project. Yeah, the
right, the
GTA
mapping project, yeah. So early on, they thought that there was references or seen license. They saw license plates to, because Leonida is supposed to be Florida, but they also saw license plates that reference what they thought was supposed to be like Georgia, right? So
Yes, I think it's called
Glory something,
Gloria, or something like that.
right? Something like that. So, the interesting thing about that is, you guys remember like in GTA 5, in I think San Andreas too, where you could basically like take a flight. I think at one point in one of the games, I'm gonna say San Andreas was probably more where you could like travel to different locations. There's always been references, particularly because we had the airports. And one of the things that I've been sort of thinking about is that, one, this map is supposed to be one of the largest maps when we look at GTA 6 in comparison to GTA 5. Like it's crazy how big the difference is in between the two maps. But what if they paywall, I think what Georgia is supposed to be, in terms of like being able to fly to other places from a Grand Theft Auto perspective, that's actually pretty diabolical, because if the game is expected to expand, that's crazy. Now, if you remember Grand Theft Auto 4, when we played that game as Nico Bellic, as the game went on, you would go into like different little sections of the game. Like you would actually stay there, live there. Things would change about the city or whatever. And then you would move on to like the next location, right? What if we had the same instance of stuff happen in this game, but it's paywalled? As the city expands or the area expands, what if you had to pay to be able to access all of those things that sort of happened in the game?
See, that was kind of. Oh, my bad. Go ahead, Cave.
No, I was gonna say I don't think that's gonna happen. Like,
What, to access the next state or like go to another next airport or something like that?
What I think any expansions, I think they're gonna do the GTA 5 model. I mean, it just makes sense. The story is going to be the story. There's not going to be expansions on the story. All of their expansions are going to be GTA Online, and they were always all free, right? So why break a model that has been making them money?
Because they have already hinted at it. They're doing a paywall. I mean, we just talked about what we get in the Ultimate location. They've already broken that model, because they are introducing instances where you now have to pay to get access to buildings like garages, to customize your car, basically content in the game. That is a fundamentally new model to GTA.
I get that, but I also think it's going to be very minor in terms of the scale of the game. It's like there's a garage that I can go to get my car customized a very specific way. That's one building out of like 20. So, I mean, it's technically true. You're 100% right.
Is it just one building though? Are we saying? But Billion, what do you think, bro?
No, I personally, I do agree with what Hacker is saying about the paywall situation. Personally, I don't like that they're putting something behind the Ultimate Edition, and I think a part of that is because of where the game industry is moving and the prices of games. I think for them to keep the price below a certain threshold, that $80, that they decided to do an Ultimate Edition. Personally, I think GTA was going to come out at $100. But again, for them to not tear the industry and try to keep games at a reasonable price, they decided to split the package up and give you a standard edition and give you an Ultimate Edition. Now, as far as what I personally think, I think as far as the story is concerned, the GTA story timeline is concerned, when the game expands, which I do believe it will, because as we know, GTA 5 has been here for like 14 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Are you talking the main stories
expanding? I'm talking the main story expanding. So okay. I think when the main story finally expands over the course of the years, that you would need to pay for the expansion. As far as how they handle GTA Online, this might be something different where they're going to have the map open to everyone. So if they open Gloriana or Gloria, whatever that next state is, I think everybody's going to have access to that on GTA Online, because the online aspect of the game does not play like the story. Now they do like the online, the heist, and like on GTA 5 you got the Perico heist and these other missions and stuff like that you can do. You don't have to pay for these things. These things are just added into online. You get that area or you get that mission, and you can run it with randoms or you can run it with friends, however you want to do it. But I do think the story should continue to expand, and being that if they do that, I don't see a big problem with doing it as an expansion to the story. Just like I said, the example of Call of Duty coming out, and Call of Duty comes out every year, and then they drop new maps and you have to buy the expansion for those new maps. And you already paid $60, $70 for Call of Duty. And they also sell a Vault edition and a collector's edition, and those go to $100 also. And then you pay another $20 for those 5 new maps. And they normally drop 10 maps during the life cycle of a Call of Duty. They'll
They
drop
abandoned
2
that.
passes. So I mean, well, I haven't.
Yeah,
I haven't played for the
I'm about
last
to
20
say
years.
that was true years ago, but they have abandoned that. If you buy Call of Duty, you get all the maps. I think they have finally learned don't split up your player base
Okay.
because because even right now, when I went back to go play MW6 and even MW, well, maybe not MW,
MW2.
MW6.
What,
It was
yeah,
like, yo, you living in
or
the
excuse
future.
me, my bad. Black Ops.
You must have
Black
played
Ops.
GTA 6 too.
When did you get a copy?
Bet.
Send it my way, because I don't know.
Back
My
to the
bad.
future over here.
What
But
in the Back to the Future is going on here?
When I went back to go play Black Ops 6, I was finding new maps that I've never played. So
Okay.
they give you all that stuff for free, and I'm
Okay,
glad that
so
they're doing
I
that.
wasn't. I didn't realize that they were, because again, I haven't bought Call of Duty for the last few years because Call of Duty has kind of fallen off its track for me at least, and I've kind of been
Mhm.
entertaining some other titles. But LZ, what do you think about the whole GTA situation on locking some items behind a paywall and other items that you don't receive with the standard edition?
Yeah, so that's why I was kind of asking about the pre-order. I think me and Shells, I don't necessarily agree with Shells' thing. Like we should have gotten like a physical copy, or not my bad, not physical copy, but like a statue or anything like that. But I just think for a game that we haven't seen yet, and the game's already more expensive, they plan on shipping out the physical copies, and I'm suspecting that's probably going to be more expensive, like Nintendo's doing. So that's we're waiting to see what that looks like. It's not shipped on PC yet, and I'm willing to bet the reason they're not doing that is because if they were to, people on PC will probably crack that paywall stuff like an egg and have that thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everywhere. So they're probably trying to like hold off on doing that, and then when they do ship it for PC, the stuff around the paywall will be free. It'll be part of the content where it's like, hey, you can have it now. We have it for PC. It doesn't matter if you crack it because it's available. You get that content already. So I think that's what they're trying to do. And I don't necessarily agree with that. And I think just like handing over your money beforehand, before we've seen it, and they're showing some, some bad practices, is not necessarily like a standard or something that we kind of want to set with the gaming companies. And that's why I'm like, I'd rather wait like the day before. Like even I played 2K still.
The day before is
pre-orders, and like
It is not crazy.
uh,
No, listen, I've pre-ordered a game 2 minutes before it was released.
exactly, yeah. And I do the same thing. So for me, it's like I'd rather wait until see more content and see what you're up to, rather than just willingly hand my money over
I,
just
I
months
might
in the
I
line
might
with
pre-order the
reward you for the bad practices that I'm seeing from you. I just rather not do that.
Okay.
I might
That's
pre-order
solid.
like
Yeah.
the first week of November, bro. Honestly,
Okay.
I might just wait
That's
till the
cool.
first week of November and then just pre-order it then.
Hey,
because-
we moving on up, man. You were sounded like you were gonna wait until the second coming, man. It was
He's gonna wait for that PC version.
Well,
That's what
I
he
mean,
was gonna do.
so one of the things that just another thought on this too is like I think one of the reasons that like I mean let's all we got to accept it. Like one of the elephants in the room is that like physical games is dying, man. Like and I think gaming companies know that. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like and while I stand on the camp of owning physical copies and ownership rights, they also recognize that people like convenience. And no matter what happens, whether it is you getting up and physically putting that disc on into that disk drive, they recognize. I think most people will see that as an inconvenience for them, because people like caveman exist. You know what I'm saying? So and instead of just getting up. Instead of getting up and walking to that disk drive, which is, by the way, they're killing off the disk drive. Oh, that was, I'll finish this out and I'll say 72% of people are buying digital copies already anyway. So the fact that they're treating the physical games as an afterthought is, I'm going to pull some wording out of Caveman's book. It's not surprising. Like they see it, they know that people are doing it, and it's been a long-standing behavior for a very long time. And we're sort of in a minority when it comes to ordering physical copies, bro. So I think that one of the things that we can, you can try to do, and you know, I think we'll talk about this in a little bit, is like really try to move towards you know, what Stop Killing Games is doing and making sure that they don't kill the servers and stuff like that. But you know,
I had a thought that goes along with this,
Yeah.
and this probably won't apply to every game, but it 100% applies to GTA. I'm actually kind of curious how they're going to get around this. I think I know how they're going to get around this. What is the storage capacity of these discs that these games are on? I think it's around 100 gigs. I want to say it's
Oh
around
yeah,
100
I mean,
gigs.
easily. I want to say GTA 5 is like 150.
How is it going to fit on a disc? What are they going to do? Are they
Well,
going to
and
make
that
it so that you have to put the disc in? It's going to give you part of the game,
you
then you
gotta
have to download the
get us
rest.
on a you gotta get us on a Drake, man, on the Drake drop. You
Nah,
gotta get a
listen.
double album, double face, whatever. You know, side A and side B, man. You know, you want to
So-
like back in the day with the PS1, you had the games come out and they had the side A and side B.
They
Yeah,
gonna
I
say
remember
Steam
that.
Drop on
Or like
Steam Drop.
I do remember with Final Fantasy. I believe
Four.
there was
Four
there was
discs.
two. Well, yeah, back in the PS1. But I'm saying as in current, the I think Rebirth. I think it actually is two disc. There's like a install. There's like one disc where it's like you install it, and then there's the other disc where it's the actual
Really?
game.
So
Yeah,
I
that
just
seems
I
weird.
just looked this up. I just looked this up for y'all right now, and currently the largest capacity for a Blu-ray disc, which PS5s are Blu-rays, is 128 gigs. So
that's not, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
it's not.
I don't think it's big enough.
Man is right. There may not be enough capacity on a CD to launch a game like GTA 6 on a disc. But what Shells is saying, if they did an install, because the install does take a few gigs, and they are able to split the install to one CD and put the game on the other CD, that may be a way to fix the issue. Is it 100%? Maybe not.
They've done it with Red Dead Redemption 2. When you open the game, the case for Red Dead Redemption 2, there's a play, it says play game, and then it says data disc. And you insert
So
the data.
there's been
first
two
into the
discs
game.
in these cases because again, I haven't bought a physical game since the PS3. So
Oh wow.
I'm dead
work.
serious. I have not bought a
That's-
physical disc
that's
game since
Crazy, dude.
since
Yeah,
they
well,
introduced
and-
it. I have not done
When's
it.
the last time? When's the last time anyone like has bought a physical disc recently? Like in the last year?
Nope.
I bought
See-
a physical
see-
disc in the last.
That's one out of five, man. That's an 80% threshold. Like I'd say gaming companies know that, man. And that's
can put that thing
unfortunate.
away.
You said in the
unfortunate,
last
man.
year?
Yeah.
I don't even think I own a PS5 game that's a physical
What?
copy. At the moment.
I don't.
Yes.
Me neither.
You know,
Me neither.
well, you know what? And PlayStation has a lot to do with that too. By the way, that's a quick side note. So apparently, and I think I was seeing some stuff on Twitter when the whole announcement of GTA 6 came out. Apparently, Sony or PlayStation's Twitter account went online. They posted like all this advertisement, and they were posting images with the physical disc of the PlayStation 5. And then, of course, naturally, Take Two was like, yeah, we're not going to have a physical copy or whatever, and it's just all going to be digital. They deleted apparently all of the posts that they've made. Sony or PlayStation went back and deleted all of the posts that they made, and they took out the picture with the physical with the version of the PlayStation 5 that has the physical disc to not misrepresent, because like, you know, they're telling people like, oh, you know, buy the PlayStation 5, but you don't need the physical disc copy. You can buy the digital version and skate away with it, you know. So and
Well,
you know, we all know the digital version is
that's definitely something to consider. But I do think, again, I do agree with Shells about getting a physical disc or a physical copy. Personally, even if we don't receive a physical copy, I would love to see a collector's pack, a collector's edition, just like GTA 5. I'm one of the people that bought the GTA 5 collector's pack or collector's edition that came in a huge box. It came with a money bag inside of it with a key with the GTA 5 logo. It came with like a hat, a shirt. It came with a bunch of little things. And, you had to pre-order this at a physical location. You couldn't just do this online. You had to go to GameStop. You had to pre-order it because they only received the amount of collector's editions per number of pre-orders. So if only 3 people pre-ordered it, there were only 3 in the store. So for me, going to a midnight release and picking up GTA 5 and being like one of the very few to get the collector's edition and stunt on the rest of the no grass touchers out there is, that's something that,
No, it's good.
gave me a rush.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It felt good.
I mean, and you know what? That's part of the nostalgia of it too. Like that whole experience and being able to kind of tell that story and recount the fact, like all the stuff that you got with the game and stuff, and why it was so critical.
Right.
To the entire experience.
And that's my point, because that type of stuff, that's timeless right there. I got the deluxe edition of Final Fantasy 15. Bro, it came with a steel case, it came with the game, and I believe it came with like a hat, and it also comes with a movie.
Bro.
That movie is so fire. And the movie is basically the story. It's what happens, what takes place in the game. Bro,
Yeah.
That's quality right there. I'm just saying, there's so many GTA fans. There are people that they don't even play video games. They stopped playing video games since the PS2 era. I have family members.
My brother hasn't played a different game other than GTA literally for like the last 5-6 years. He still plays GTA to this day.
Bro, my older cousins haven't played since Vice City and San Andreas, bro. They stopped and they just never played. And they're like, I'm buying a PS5 specifically for Grand Theft Auto 6. I don't care about any other game. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm just saying, like, they know that they have fans. Give us something more than a digital code.
I agree with that.
That's all I'm saying, bro.
A quick point. They made $10 billion in global revenue, if I'm looking this number correctly. If anybody or any franchise, I think, should consider doing something like memorable, because I mean they release a game like few and far in between, and people buy it like Billion that's bought the game 6-7 times. The system that they get, it's like make it memorable. You know what I mean? Where they can get a collector's edition because it's like a big event anyway. It's like you're already charging extra. Hey man, come on.
Yeah, facts. Make it worth my while. I'm calling off for work for this. You know what I'm saying? I heard hackers calling off for the whole month for this game.
Listen, man. Like, I mean, it is not just a game, bro. It is an experience they're selling me, man.
Historic
and it has to be. I have played GTA 5. Like, I was in college when GTA 5 was out, man. Like, or released. Like it. Like you.
I remember running in the streets with you.
Like playing this game is an experience, bro. And buying it is an event. And sitting down, running through the story, like, I was watching a video that was kind of running through, and I've played GTA 5 story at least 5 or 6 times, like full playthrough, and over the last 10 years, So that's like once every 1.5 years, you know what I'm saying? So,
like when you say it that way, it is sad when you say it that way.
Yeah, I mean, like it's just like it's such a good story, man, and I fully expect that experience to hold the same kind of weight, man. Like there's gonna be turns, there's gonna be like all sorts of crazy stuff happening in the story that I expect to be memorable and come back and. We're going to run through like, like, did you see what happened in the game? Like, I mean, like, it's such an experience, man. So I definitely.
I got a question. Do you think, I possibly believe that one of the reasons why they probably said, okay, let's do it digital. Rockstar has the power to cause chaos in the streets, bro. No, like seriously, bro.
It'd be the equivalent of FIFA, what FIFA in soccer is in probably shouldn't call it soccer, but like football is in Europe, bro. Like especially in
they have the power, and I feel like they're like, you know what? I think it's safe to say I think we should just do a digital release because if we make this physical and we put it out there, bro, it's gonna be chaotic, bro. I feel like it'll
You
just
know
be
what's crazy
chaotic,
too
bro.
is that I think about like Walmart, especially right around Thanksgiving on Black Friday and stuff. Could you imagine? Like, I don't think we've had like a real Black Friday because everything's moved to like digital deals and stuff. Like people bomb rushing stores and like all the
Well,
crazy stuff we used to
everybody's
see.
shopping on Cyber Monday now,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
not
but
really like,
I think that you could probably get a lot of that back with the release of GTA 5 coming out. Because like if people are buying stuff for their kids, I mean November 19th is right around
That's around
Thanksgiving. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
that's
yeah,
holiday
yeah.
time. That's the
I mean,
holiday
no
Right,
doubt
season.
about it.
right.
If they do
Yeah.
drop a physical copy in December, I would assume that it's going to be crazy people running into the store to get that.
Yeah.
Bro,
That's quite.
people are gonna buy the game twice already, bro. They're gonna buy that. They go the digital and then they're gonna buy the physical. And what they're
I'm not
buying
gonna
Nah,
lie to you.
I'm
I've thought
not.
about it.
I
I've
might
thought
buy it
about it.
twice, but it'll be once on PS5 and once on PC.
On PS.
Hey,
Oh,
listen,
okay. Well,
if
maybe
they
I'll
drop
buy
a
it four
collector's edition,
times.
if they drop a collector's edition, I'm 100% buying it twice. I may even buy it three times and buy two collector's packs.
bro,
Yeah,
people are gonna buy it.
You
I
crazy.
agree with. Yeah,
You
I
crazy.
think once for the PS5, once for the PS6, once for PC,
Bro,
and
come
once for that
on.
collector's edition.
Bro,
I mean,
No.
it's
Nah,
an
mean,
nah,
experience, man. It's
the
an
math,
experience. If
the
I'm
math
gonna
is
play it six
crafty.
times anyway,
The
I might
math
as
is
well
nah.
just play it on a different platform. You know what I'm saying?
Twice and done. Get it
no,
on
no. The
PC.
math is making
I'll
sense.
be up. I will be up to date.
I guarantee you it's gonna drop on the PS5 and then Sony's gonna be like, hey, the PS6 is coming out. Like it's $1,500, you know.
Listen, we already know that's gonna come out soon.
Remember back in episode 2, I mentioned that.
it's
Back in
Yeah.
it's
episode
gonna
2, I did mention that. I said,
You
watch
did,
what
you
happens.
did.
GTA is going to come out. We're going to buy it on the PS5. And a few months later, the PS6 is going to drop and say, hey, guys, you need to upgrade because we added some new features. Buy it
and you know
again.
what? And you know what? That PlayStation 6 is gonna be digital. There is gonna be no disc version.
Okay, well, check this out. Since we're on the topic of digital games and things like that and pre-ordering, which one of you guys are pre-ordering the Steam machine?
Nope.
Ew.
Nope.
Absolutely. Let's just the fact that they're coming in hot. I think what was it like $1,000 if you don't get the highest edition that they got. And by the
512
way,
gig.
yeah, and I've had by the way, I've had a Steam controller and I just got my first DualSense Edge controller, which I'm loving, by the way. But I have the Steam controller on order, and that's been on back order, and I have not gotten a copy yet because you got to sit in this queue or whatever, and they have to give you the ability to order. And they're coming out with the Steam machine now, but just them coming in at $1,000 just for that device, and like are considering that I just upgraded my PC to a 5080. I'm not buying that. You know what I mean? Like I just.
So
I'm
Mr.
not buying the
Steam,
Steam machine. I think.
so Mr. Steam himself is not buying the Steam machine. That's what you're telling us?
Well, I don't think I have a real use case for it because I'm playing anything that apparently, and I don't know. I'm drawing a blank on the name of the company that does all of the baseline benchmarking on like a lot of like hardware platforms or whatever.
There's a bunch that
I'm
do
trying
it.
to. Yeah. There are, but there's one that's famous for benchmarking like games on PC and PS5, et cetera, and doing like a deep analysis. But from what I remember seeing, apparently the PS5 is beating out the Steam machine in a couple instances, right? So like, if
And a
that
lot.
is true, and they're beat like the PS5, and base PS5, not PS5 Pro, base PS5 is beating out the Steam machine. You mean to tell me that like I have a base PS5 beating out the Steam machine on some games, and it's more expensive by like $600? I mean, why would I do that? You know what I mean? Like, I start a PC build if I want to get like a mid to starter or mid tier build. So I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's worth it, man.
So, Caveman, you aren't you using the Steam platform also?
Well, that's two separate
The
things. I use Steam to purchase games. That has nothing to do with the machine.
that's
So
the
you're not going to
launcher,
buy the
yeah.
machine.
Excuse me?
So you're not going to buy the machine either.
That was never a thought.
I mean, Caveman is running a 4080. If he bought the Steam machine, I'd be like, why? You know what I mean? Like, you're like,
yeah, even then, like it never made sense because you have to remember, even at the price that it's at, like I believe they had uh configured it from hardware from like 2 or 3 years ago, right? That's what's in there. Hardware from like 2 or 3 years ago, and they just never changed it. They never upgraded it, right? So yeah, you're looking at old hardware that's selling for current prices, which is way too high. Not just because of the storage, just everything about it is just too high. Even if you go back to what they originally wanted to sell it for like $500 or whatever it was, I think even then it's too high. It
So
would have
I
been
have
a
a question. I have a
what's
question
up?
about the Steam machine because me, I don't know anything about Steam so much. I obviously was never getting the Steam machine, but
We'll get you there.
it's like,
but let's say, um, is it possible, or would your opinion change if the Steam machine is an upgradable machine? If it's not
Nope.
a closed concept machine, like sort of how the PS5 is, where we can
Nah.
only add memory to it, but we can't change the other components. Versus, what if the Steam machine lets you change the components, that graphics card, or whatever,
Then it would
5090,
just be a ripoff.
4080, 2099, or whatever you want to put into.
I don't know about that. I don't know if it would necessarily be a ripoff.
Yeah,
Let's
it would.
say, well, for people like us who have high end PCs, it- that's not gonna look very compelling. But let's say you have, if you wanted to, if they made it upgradable, because there you could take the faceplate off and stuff like that. And I don't think that is their approach, but that might be a genius idea if you want to take uh if you want to take, I think, some of the player base away from console, from console, like for console gamers moving over to PC. And Steam is already the most popular game launcher and platform for playing PC games anyway, right? So if they wanted to take away a lot of the market share from consoles and they introduce a console that is based off of their PC, their launcher and platform, and their entire interface, and they made it upgradable like a PC, that would be an introduction to buying a base PC, right? Because right
Well,
now, the core
well, hold
argument
up.
as to why you wouldn't even want to buy a Steam machine is, one, just like Caveman said, it's older, it's older architecture, older hardware, whatever. But what if it came in with the same performance as a base or mid tier level PC that is upgradable, but in a small form factor, which small form factor PCs are a thing. So I mean, they'd be trying to target multiple areas of market share, man. It honestly would personally be brilliant.
You just said exactly what I was thinking. That already exists. There are already small form factor PCs. Why are they
True,
not doing it now?
Well, they
true,
don't.
but what if?
Those small form factors probably don't have the name that the Steam has. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's
I
just
mean,
building a small PC versus Steam being a company that's already grounded. It
but
has
think
a
about
player
this.
base that buys games from them,
I
and
think you flipped it though. You said it's just building a PC when it's the other way around, where the PC is the more powerful thing. It can do a lot more versus getting
Exactly.
the Steam. Now, all you can do is run games on it, where you could get
Well, that's not
Steam
that's not
games
necessarily
running
true.
Steam on it.
Yeah, that's not
It can
true.
That's
do a lot
not
more.
that's not necessarily true, right? That you can just run games on the on the Steam
Steam
machine,
machine.
because the Steam Deck, you can actually plug that into your TV and run it like a PC and get on browsers once you put it in desktop mode. And
Well,
that we're
see?
talking about the handheld.
Yeah,
So
but
now-
can you really run it like a PC?
yes, yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. People do it all the time to kind of
Running
showcase. There's
apps,
huh?
like besides just watching TV, you're doing like running apps, Microsoft Word.
Yep.
All that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it's a PC.
It's still Linux.
Well,
It's
see, well,
Linux
there,
and-
that's what I
Yeah.
mean. So now you're getting a machine where maybe you can upgrade it, or maybe there's something that they're going to give us. Maybe they haven't announced it yet. That's going to come with the Steam machine, or make the Steam machine seem like the console to get. Because you got to remember, they're competing against a player base that Sony has created for like the last 30 years. And, Microsoft also coming into the game at some point when the Xbox came out. So there's already a big competition here. What value is Steam giving us with the new Steam machine that will make people want to leave their console and go to them? And for me, even, it's just a thought. I think that there's a possibility that maybe we're going to be able to upgrade this, or maybe we're going to be able to use the Steam machine for other capabilities other than just playing games.
I think you're talking from someone that's not necessarily on Steam, so you don't necessarily understand the benefits of the Steam platform and like the library of like games that exist on Steam that would want someone that's on console to still actually be on the Steam platform as well and on both. So I think that's one draw for the console. I mean, for the console or Steam platform versus PlayStation and Xbox. But one thing I'll say from like a consumer perspective, I'd say like even with it being upgradable, it wouldn't interest me because even still with the prices, it's like just get a PC. For me to be interested in something like this, it would have to be like very baseline entry level, where let's say how on the new Call of Duty they're phasing out the last PlayStation, for example. Let's say where it's like, hey, this is like the very very baseline you can get to these new level games. And it may not be the best, but it will work. But then it's like dirt cheap. So as people are saying, like gaming did it more expensive. If this was like a cheap option where it's like, hey, this is the baseline, but you can upgrade these, but you're gonna get this for a lot cheaper than you can get a PC or a PlayStation or an Xbox, that would interest me. But for the prices they're charging for it, and then I gotta upgrade it anyway, it's like I could just get a PC and just upgrade that.
Okay,
Exactly.
so the question I have, not to like, cut anybody off now, but the question I do have now, kind of moving forward in this topic, is the Steam machine is coming out at $1,000, and I think Microsoft has announced that the price of Xbox is going up. Also, is that correct?
Everything going up.
So now the question is, between Microsoft and Steam machine, you guys don't want the Steam machine, but are you guys buying the Xbox at this new price increase?
That one's a bigger no. Actually, it's equally sized no, because you're better off. So listen, if around that same price, right, just over $1,000, you're better off getting a pre-built PC, right, or building one yourself, because you get a pre-built or build one yourself, you're getting a more powerful PC or more powerful, whatever you want to call it, console, PC, whatever. It's going to be more powerful. You can upgrade it. And a lot of what's available on Xbox is going to be there. Everything that's available on the Steam machine is going to be there. What is the point of getting these things? Right? And this is why I said it's a ripoff. If you think of it as something that you can buy and upgrade, well, you already have better options out there. Why would I pay more for a less significant thing just to upgrade it in the future? It would be a ripoff.
And I think that's the biggest thing is their pricing strategy, in my opinion, is that
They didn't have a choice. It was either that or take a huge
that's
hit.
That's fair. They were kind of forced to, and I think in the past they've even tried to like hold out on, like, for example, the Steam Deck. Steam Deck wasn't available, and they were kind of forced to upgrade that to increase that price, and they kind of held out to like the last minute, So
The Steam machine doesn't even come with a controller, bro.
It can for an
Not for the
additional
base
price.
one. Not
Wait,
for the base one. Yeah.
wait a minute. So
Yeah.
you telling me for $1,000 you don't get a controller with the
Nah.
box?
You
No,
have to
you
Nope.
gotta pay extra, bro.
Hold
like
on,
with
I'm about to start boycotting.
$10.
But
I'm
hey, Billion, hold on. Billion,
I'm
keep in mind.
boycotting.
Hold on, Billion, you got to
Yeah.
keep in mind that you can use pretty much any other controller.
Any
You can
controller,
use
yeah.
Xbox, a
I think that's
PS5. You can use a mouse and keyboard. You can use other things, so you don't
On
have to
on
buy
the
one.
Steam machine, you could use any controller you
Yeah,
want.
yeah.
Okay,
It's the same thing
Well,
with it's the same
or
thing with
even a
PC.
keyboard. You know, like I mean, it's built for the living room, but you could technically hook up a keyboard to it.
What I play.
okay.
Yeah.
That is.
Caveman's playing with the scuff. Have you guys heard of the Slate Truck? Just to kind of
Nope.
keep up with the okay. So Slate Truck is basically like just to keep in the same vein of that upgrading the Steam machine, and I really think that would be a good
That's a
good
good
idea.
idea. It's a good idea.
Like I think it like to upgrade it would have the draw. I think though they already have access to the market share. From the perspective of when you think about Sony and other companies and the way that they discount games, I do think that Sony gets some flack or PlayStation gets some flack for not offering good pricing strategies and really kind of like in you could argue that they sort of have a little bit more punitive behavior for their more consistent player base because they charge. For example, I was playing Stellar Blade today, and I was playing the trial on the PS5, and I went to look on Steam, and I was like, okay, what's the price for it? On a PS5, they're charging $69.99 for the base game. The base game on Steam is $59, but the ultimate like fully packed multiple 2 game, I think you get like some stuff with like Near Automata and everything like that, was coming in on discounted price at like 53. I bought it. And I bought it on PC. So like it just lets you like I think Steam already has the pricing strategy, and I think one of the things that LZ sort of touched on is that backlog of games that you can purchase, particularly when Steam is running those discounts on the weekend and some of their bigger events on Steam. Like people who are in that environment already recognize the value that Steam provides that Sony doesn't necessarily provide when it comes to their pricing strategy and discounting games and getting people to lock in on the platform. But circling back to the Slate Truck is a new truck that came out, and basically you can build it and upgrade the Slate Truck itself. It comes in at like $24,950, something like that, and you can. Yeah, so like it's an electric vehicle or whatever, and you decide if you want to upgrade it, you upgrade it. And I think for the Steam machine, I think it would be brilliant for them to do the same thing. And that would be in addition to that pricing strategy for them to be able to say, okay, here's a console that we have. You already have the PS5, but here's a reason even more beyond our pricing strategy as to why you should come into our platform, buy our Steam machine console, even though it's a little bit more expensive, but we can promise you better discounts. We can promise you a better and more effective UI and playing games on a PC. And while our console is not necessarily the strongest out there because we are facing such an expensive pricing sort of crisis when it comes to hardware components or PC components, you have the ability, if you can afford it, to upgrade if you want. And you'll have access to things like our Steam frame, the Steam controller, and how we've built those things or whatever. And you can make the argument our Steam controller doesn't have haptic feedback and all those other things, but here are all the other things that you get as a benefit for it.
I have a better idea.
Let's
Hear me
hear it.
out. Instead of trying to duplicate what the PC market is already doing, right? Because what you described, minus the software portion of it, is what the PC market already allows, right? You can buy a thing, upgrade it, whatever you want. Stick to the software, the thing that you've been doing well. If you like, a lot of people don't like Windows, and there's a lot of bloatware if you're just playing games. The Steam machine, it's that the Steam OS doesn't have all that. It is built for gaming. Sell that, because then people can go
Well, they
out and
do.
do whatever. Huh?
Well, they do. They do, right? Because
They sell the Steam OS.
yes. So if you think, for example, what's some of the other third party like handheld games out there outside of the Steam Deck, the Legion Go, and some of those other ones? I think they now are you're able to run Steam on those platforms.
I'm not talking. Are you talking about the actual operating system that's powering the Steam machine?
Yeah.
What would be the point of them selling a machine that has that specialized OS on other devices already? Then,
well, hold on. So specialized OS for the Steam machine, not necessarily, but I'm saying they have taken that same concept. Not necessarily. I'm not saying exactly the Steam OS, Steam machine OS operating system.
That's what I'm talking about.
Well, I think that's what.
Well, I mean, it makes no difference, right? Because it would essentially be almost exactly the same, just running on different hardware and architected for different hardware. So
the reason
your UI is still the same. Your UI is still the same. The capabilities, you still get the same stuff. It's just like the Steam Deck. Steam Deck's operating system is running on a handheld, built for that, hardware.
The Steam Deck and the Steam machine, that's from the same company. I expect them to be somewhat similar. I can understand
and that's what I'm saying. They're selling. I'm saying that they sell the software because they've already introduced it to other handhelds. So they are indeed selling the software. They're selling it to platforms, handhelds like the Legion Go, who can now run Steam on their platform instead of running a Windows. Because a lot of people hate Windows and they don't like a lot of the stuff that goes into the finicky like stuff that you need to do, like configurations that you need to do on Windows. They now allow other third-party handhelds to do it, and so they're selling their software. I think this is just another avenue to increase the.
Would it be something similar to say what Google is doing with Android, where they have that base and then other people can take it and modify it and do whatever they want with it? Would you say it's something like that?
I don't know that they're necessarily even modifying it right out of the box. I believe, and they might be able to. I don't have a Legion Go and I'm not running it, but I do know other handhelds can run Steam OS essentially on those handhelds and run Steam and all that other good jazz.
Okay, given that this whole Steam machine just doesn't make sense to me at all, then. That was the one thing that I could see that would make it worth it, having specialized software. But if you're telling me that already existed and people can use it, I don't see the point of this.
So I'll circle back to the same point that I made about the Steam frame and what we don't know, and us not knowing what we don't know. And I think Billion touched on this, is that there is possibly speculation here, some capability that they might have coming out with a Steam frame. But even if they don't, like, let's say they don't have any other special stuff that's coming out or whatever that would entice consumers, I do think that the notion, and we just talked about it, I think consumers like they like stuff that's easy. You know what I'm saying? It's like just like buying the digital copy instead of the physical copy. I don't have to walk to go to my entertainment console and pull out the physical disc and put it in the physical drive of my PS5. And then I don't have to do that. And I think Steam offers that. They offer an easy to use user interface. And I think this is the same argument that Apple makes, right? It's easy to use. It works with all of our stuff as long as you're using all of our stuff.
Okay.
Like I said, I still don't think it's worth it. I just don't see the point in it.
I see what Hacker is saying.
I mean, I get it, but there's already an ego. Like, there has to be a compelling. It just has to be better, and I don't see it as better.
I think Caveman is crashing out. I think Caveman is crashing out because he can build a PC and is like, but I'm not saying about build myself. A PC and well, I'm saying, like, I don't think most people would not build a PC, and some people would be like, I don't even want to deal with all these components laying everywhere. I have to make sure that I'm grounded. I have to make sure that I have to do this. I have to make sure I have to like all these different components.
Most people are probably just going to buy a PC, so they're not going to build one.
Exactly. Most people. Yeah,
It just
like
it just
shells.
makes sense. It just makes sense to buy a PC, but at the same time, the Steam machine, it's not better than the base PS5. If it's not better than the
That's
base PS5,
well,
There's that, and it's also not better than PCs of similar price.
yeah,
So,
and yeah,
so
yeah.
again,
And
right?
this is, by the way, this argument is sticking with the fact if they added upgradability to the Steam machine, that would be the best way to go, in my opinion. I think that that idea would be brilliant if they did that. But at its current, I do agree. Like it's now beating out the PS5 in some aspects, the base PS5 in some aspects, at
Mhm.
$1,500 for their top end one and $1,000 for their in terms of price, they're beating out both the Xbox and the PS5. It's a tough sell.
So as Hacker was saying about ease of use, people like ease of use. People like Caveman don't like to go outside. He likes to stay inside. No grass
Yo,
for
I'm
him.
catching
No
strays.
I think
grass, no grass.
even though Shells orders physical copies, it seems like he orders them online, so he doesn't touch much grass either. But
No, sir, no, sir, no, sir.
Yeah, no,
I
I think it shows is
I,
true, man. You went to the
no, trust me.
GameStop.
I
you
touched the grass,
outside.
my guy. I touched the
Okay,
grass.
okay, okay.
Trust me. I was out there in the streets, the rain, the hail, the sleet, and the snow.
Okay.
You know,
But what I'm saying as far as ease of use, so e- ease of use is cool, but because of ease of use, we have something like the Stop Killing Games initiative. And I think that kind of comes about because people are wanting to become or make things easier by getting digital copies. But then that in turn, that also makes it easy for these developers to also stop live service on these games. For example, one of our beloved games on that we talk about on this platform all the time, and Hacker already mentioned it, is Anthem. The game came out, it had a service,
Yeah. Oh my
and
God.
they killed
Diabolical.
the service. You know what I'm saying? So now that the service is dead, you can no longer play the game, really. So what are your opinions right now on this? I know LZ, you were one of the main ones that brought up the Stop Killing Games initiative earlier this week while we were talking in the chat. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, man, I just think it's interesting. I obviously agree with the consumers. I do think, even though it's kind of tough now, I would like games to last if you purchase it. I mean, for me, I grew up on Sega Genesis, and I'm pretty sure you could go get those cartridges, load those bad boys up, and you could play Sonic the Hedgehog right now as we
Right
speak.
now.
There is
Real
no
quick, can
support.
you give a quick summary of what it is? Because I have a general idea of it.
So the Stop Killing Games initiative has actually came up. It was a campaign that was founded by a YouTuber. His name was Ross Scott, and it started back in 2024. And he pretty much was challenging the gaming industry on practices of permanently disabling always online titles. So in places like the EU, they had um, a tremendous amount of like valid signatures to support their initiative here. I mean, like over 1 million signatures of people saying if they purchase a game, whether they purchase the game digitally or if they purchase a physical one, if there is a online component to it, they want to always be able to play this. We feel like we're losing ownership because when we buy something, because it's digital and because it's online, at any point in time, it could disappear. And now I technically don't own this game anymore. So I think that's where the Stop Killing Games initiative start from. They actually do have a website too that you can visit, and the website is stopkillinggames.com.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can
Of
probably
course,
check that
website
out.
for it.
And just
Um,
So,
to
so
add a little
so
bit more context, really quick. So it originated because of the game The Crew. Basically, the servers went offline, and the players of the crew ultimately they weren't able to play the game because I believe the game just required always online access. So that started the snowball of people saying, hey, if I buy the game, I should own it and I should have some way to play the game because I love this game. And really quick to wrap up. So that started the whole petition, which got millions of signatures. And I think like the politicians, they started getting into it. And then basically they started talking to like some of the studios and ultimately decided, hey, you know what? I think you're right. I don't think you'll be able to support these games indefinitely because the companies are saying, hey, some of these games require servers to be online, and like financially, you can't possibly expect us to keep every game we publish always working forever. But just to wrap up, goes to my point. Hey, Sonic the Hedgehog 1, 2, and 3, 3D Blast, I can play those right now.
So
Okay.
there's three core things to the Stop Killing Games initiatives, which is inner life plans, which we touched on, consumer ownership, right? Because it that's sort of the quagmire to digital games, is that the more we make games digital, the more that we depend on companies to have servers running that they did now have to pay for to maintain our ability to actually play the game over the life of the game, right? And who's to say how long that's going to be? 80 years from now, if I want to play Grand Theft Auto 5, I want to play Grand Theft Auto 5 and it should be able to run. And then the obviously preservation of the medium, right, is protecting video games as a culture and creative medium that and that is supposedly the three pillars of the Stop Killing Games initiative itself.
I understand what it is now, and I foresee this going nowhere. And the reason why I foresee this going nowhere is because there's a very, very simple workaround for this.
Really?
At least from the company's perspective. It's as simple as this. In the terms of agreement to play this game, you recognize that this game will be disabled or cut off at a certain point in time, which means
and you're okay with that.
No. I'm not saying I'm okay with it. What I'm saying is the business can just do this, which means if they put it in the terms of agreement, you signed up from the start saying, hey, this game will only last for X amount of years. And then after that, there's no guarantee that it will be online.
So that is a thing though, that because in the terms of service, they are already putting in that they're classifying the game as a revocable license that could make the property invalid or not accessible in the future. So this is a thing that is happening right now in the terms of service of some of these games. I think the problem here is that as media is growing, as games are growing, and we mentioned earlier that games can no longer fit on a standard Blu-ray disc, and we haven't found the technology that's allowing us to fit bigger games on these CDs. It kind of leaves us in a place where we don't have a choice but to be on an online server or to download these games digitally. So
I don't know. I don't know if that's necessarily true, though. Right? We talked about physical game disc earlier, but really, like
it doesn't
physical
matter.
game. I think this is the gaming companies intentionally doing this in order to in order for, in my personal opinion, a master plan to move towards live service games that can continue to generate income in order to, have a profit model that allows them to kind of scale in terms of profitability long term. But I don't think that's necessarily working out for them. And a lot of the consumers essentially hate that. I'll make an argument here. Shadow of Mordor came out sometime in 2014 or something like that. And they still allow you, and I think it had the online component to it. They shut those online capabilities down from their multiplayer or always online service, but the core game is still available to play. And I played it on the Steam Deck not 6 months ago. So the fact that some of these companies are saying, oh, we can we can't continue to support these games because it's costing us too much. I honestly think that's cap. Here's another reason I think it's cap is that while games have continued to see an increase or whatever in technology, we stayed with the physical disc, but there's several flaws to the physical disc to begin with, right? When Best Buy couple years ago, and I don't know if you guys heard about this, Best Buy stopped selling physical disc in their stores, so we couldn't buy like CD, like music CDs or whatever, right? And that's another medium, another physical medium where like digital streaming became a thing, and we had to subscribe to a service, a monthly service, to be able to listen to music. And of course, artists are losing in that medium too, and I think game developers are losing in that same way in the gaming medium, right? So when they stop selling CDs, the flaws to CDs is that, for example, Blu-ray discs, we talked about them, but there's some people are reporting that the physical game after a certain while starts going bad and you can't play the game anymore. So what's the solution to that? Is why aren't we using USB drives? USB-A, USB Type-C, and then we continue to evolve those drives and have them send me 128. I'm already paying $50 for the game,
Well,
right? You know,
isn't the USB drive still a digital copy? For example, because you're going to use the USB drive, put it into your system, and then you're going to be downloading the game, and it's on the system.
Not if it's a technically a physical copy. If I have all of the physical file, all of the digital files installed on the physical hardware, right? So that way, I no longer have to depend on the servers, right? Like I no longer have to depend on developer servers, and the excuse that, oh, I have to maintain all of these servers and the cost becomes associated with, that's cap. Send me a USB drive, man. And no, it's not a CD. But just change the game box to have a little crevice in there and plop the USB drive in there, and I still get the same level of nostalgia and stuff like that. You know, I think that's cap, dude.
They're not.
Yeah,
They're not gonna do that. They just
they're
don't
not.
want
They're not, and they're not because it doesn't benefit them long term in order to scale and continue to generate profit. And
We don't
I think that's
So
where the Stop Killing Games initiative really should make some strong argument. Get some lawyers,
I,
get together, and make this argument. And I don't think that the idea that that it's a bad argument that they're killing games. I think the fact that they're killing games is intentional. It's intentional.
here's my thing. The way that you get the game does not matter because it's talking about the servers that operate the online portion of it, digital or physical. That doesn't matter, correct?
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, what you're saying, sure, cool, we could do that, but it wouldn't change this specific issue. What I think would fix it, and it's happened for some things, it just doesn't happen for every game, is allow people to host their own servers
I
so
was
that they
just
can
going
play the
to
game
say that.
afterwards, right? Because while somebody mentioned it that it's probably not much money for them to host a server to keep an old game running, I would say that is true for larger companies, but you're essentially forcing out smaller companies because obviously this rule would apply to everyone. Say I'm a little indie game developer, I make a server, it gets a little popular, it's getting 1,000 people a week or whatever, and then over the years it drops down to a point where it's unsustainable. Well, that little indie developer, they have to now keep up these servers, and I don't think it's fair to them, right? But if they just gave them the option to let users create their own servers and host it themselves so that they could play the game if they want to, then that relieves them of that responsibility or that payment every month, and it gives the users the players the option of still playing the game years after it has been canceled, so to speak.
I got a question for you, Billion. I know you had like a point you wanted to say. I had a question for you real quick. So on that whole server thing, right? So let's say if they decided to pass that cost over to the consumer, where it's like, hey, this game is super old, we can't afford to, take on the cost of this, but the cost of this server is this much a month, and find a way to kind of pass it off where it's like it might be like 50 cents subscription to keep this game going if you love it this much. If you know life this game and you play it every day and you want to keep it going, would you as a consumer be willing to take on that cost of keeping that server
Well,
going?
hold up.
As
Are
like
you
a unit?
saying they would host it and I pay a subscription to play it from them? Is that what you're saying?
Possibly, yeah.
I
So
I,
I
I'm
take
not
I,
doing that.
I
I'll
I
tell you,
wouldn't do
I
that.
wouldn't do that. I could, yeah, you can host your own servers, but I don't even think you need to do that. I still think the USB drive is a way to cut out servers in general. And if you want to play together with friends,
How do you cut
then
out? How do you cut out a server for an online game?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. That's okay. So the online component and thinking in that same vein, right? Of Shadow of Mordor, shut out the online component. If you're talking multiplayer, that's different. But if I just want to play the game, the base game, which I think is one of the core problems now, is if you're shutting off the game entirely and you're sunsetting games after a while, and we don't have true ownership. Put it on a USB drive and give it to me, right? Like when I pre-order the game or I run into GameStop, put it on a USB drive. Change the physical medium. We have the physical medium, and they've sunsetted the physical mediums, and I think that's a reasonable argument to make, to be able to say, okay, we have new technology and we have, right? We talked about the Blu-rays not having enough space. I mean, you could put 150 gigs or whatever the game is on there, or something larger. And would they make the argument that they're going to raise the prices? Possibly, right? And that's one of the considering how expensive memory is. I think that's the one quagmire. I think that's the one quagmire is the physical hardware and memory being so expensive.
I still don't think that is what matters. The physical, like whether it's physical or digital, it's the fact that the game requires to be online, right? That's the thing that would shut it down, right? I would say,
I mean, again, still leave online out of it.
yeah,
Why?
No, no,
no,
we're
no,
not
no.
leaving online out of it because that's the
The
point of the
that's the whole
initiative.
thing. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
gotcha.
yeah. So it's not
Is
so
it?
much the
Is it
physical
though?
or physical. Yeah, because that's what it is. It's the game requires to be online. That server is no longer there. The game can't verify, so it doesn't allow you to play. If
Yeah.
Well, not the
anything,
multiplayer. Not the multiplayer. It's referring to game in the case like the crew. Like they're not talking about the online component. It just requires an online component for game
Online.
overall. So
Yeah,
because
and
it's online, they can't access the game at all. So
yeah,
people are saying, hey, at the very least, I should have the single player. I don't think
yeah.
people with initiative
yeah.
care about the multiplayer. That's understandable. You can't keep a story running, but why is the story mode on?
And that's why I brought up Shadow of Mordor's earlier, is because Shadow of Mordor's did exactly that. They shut off the online components and still allow people to play the actual single player game.
That's what I'm
Right.
gonna say.
And as
If
long
they,
as you own the digital copy, then it
But
doesn't
that
matter.
single player game, for that game that you're talking about, is that single player game and needs online capability to play single player? If not, it's not the same thing as what the crew has. For you to play single player on the crew, you need to be have an online service.
Yeah, and I'm saying Shadow of Mordor and their developers did it the right way by not requiring people to have an internet connection that's connected to the servers and
I
then
agree
shutting
with
the
you.
game off. Right.
Right.
So they should, at the very least, the single player game should be available and having ownership of it. So that's why I'm saying, like, if this from the single player owner perspective, put it on a USB drive. We're not putting it on a CD drive if there's not enough memory on there. Put it on a USB drive.
So I do have a question because I do have Shadows of Mordor and I have Shadows of War, and I did beat Shadows of Mordor. But is Shadows of Mordor is there like a co-op mode on that? Is or a
I
multiplayer?
want to say both, either both, or and maybe I was playing Shadow of War, but one of the two has a online component to it that they essentially shut off in the game, and I'm drawing a blank on what the specific component is. I'll have to circle back to you on it.
Caveman,
Cause
you were saying also?
I was just gonna say it. There's a very simple solution. When the game is getting to the end of life, remove that requirement. It's as simple as that. Whether or not
That
companies
makes
are going
sense
to
to
do
me.
that, that's the hard part. I can understand for this Stop Killing Games initiative to force them to do so. I think that would be useful, right? I don't think you can force somebody to pay for something long term, essentially in this case the servers, but you can force them to make a change so that the game is still playable, at least in its solo player or campaign or whatever. I think that is perfectly viable. And
So
at that
Shells,
point, it's
go ahead.
yeah,
I was going
go
to say,
ahead.
so Shells, just to answer your question, Shadow of Wars has what's known as the online conquest, which I actually never played. I always played the original game and just played through the story mode. But you can attack it's you can do attack and defense where you attack castles and stuff like that. Like the whole concept throughout the game was like you would attack the castles or whatever of the orcs, and you would take over their castle so you can like gain power of whatever throughout the entire map. And then they had an online component that allowed you to do that to other people's castles, and you attack their stuff from. So they have what was known an online conquest feature for Shadow of War.
Okay.
So I have a an idea. I don't know how familiar you guys are with some crypto projects and stuff like that, but there's something in crypto where you can own or have your own node. So I think for this to work, the games have to leave the current development that they're in and move into a new space. And for me, I think that space would have to be in the NFT space. So NFT isn't just picture art and things like that, because if we're buying these games and we're having ownership of it, when you own an NFT, it shows up that you own a piece of this project. And being that you own a piece of the project, having a node, the network is secured by the people that are on the network, that are using the network, and this is where the server relies. It relies on everybody that's currently using it. So as long as that they have players on these games or owning a piece of the network, then the game can always be live because the players are in control at this point. Everybody's going to own a piece of the project that they purchase into. So they can never shut it down because it will always exist as long as somebody is online playing it. I don't know how they're going to pass off as far as like cost of having a server or figuring out some way to make this component work. But I think this is an idea because games pretty much have always been the same. Once we left the cartridge era and we went into the CD era, and we left the CD era and went into the online era, it's pretty much have been the same. There's really been no new development on how servers work outside of, seeing other projects, not necessarily related to games, but seeing projects push their servers into a cloud or having some type of cloud system that's storing the information. But I think at this point, we're moving into a new era of games, and games should be able to continue to develop and move into the era of letting the players have some type of ownership within the project. We're already seeing this happen in the music industry with independent artists. Artists are now dropping NFT albums, and everyone that purchased the album now owns a piece of it. So the mechanical royalties that the album produces normally would go 100% to like the artists and to the producers. But now if I purchase this NFT project, I own a piece of it. So now when the album makes money, I also make money for owning a piece of the project. And it gets shared amongst everyone that owns the project. And I think that's where the money goes to keeping these servers online. It's just an idea.
I think I gave out the playbook here. I'm gonna stick in the camp of put it on a USB drive. I think there's enough memory in terms of, and if the argument is purely ownership, give me access to the single player game. I don't care about the online component and playing. I mean, like for example, we were playing Modern Warfare 2 just the other day, or K-Man logged into Modern Warfare 2 just recently, and he was like, "Oh yeah, it took 5 minutes to find a match or whatnot." So the fact that people eventually will sort of die off and no longer play the online components itself, I think is one of the things that sort of make keeping the online component not really necessary. And owners can take their own route, and if they want to play together. I think the capability already exists in terms of like being able to play together, and in that and if they want to host their own servers to play the games, that great. If somebody wants to pay and take on the cost of playing the game because they love it so much and there's communities. I mean, that's what people were doing back in the 90s or whatever anyway. You know what I'm saying? People were playing for their own servers and hosting games and whatnot, and getting on games. So
That exists right now. As much,
right,
funny enough that you
right.
you mentioned Call of Duty. Uh, a lot of the older Call of Duties, they still work, they still function, and it's because people are hosting their own servers to play them. Right? I
Yeah.
know Activision ain't supporting it anymore, but that
Right.
would be the route to go. I mean,
That's where you
it
get all
seems
the
as simple
hackers
as
from.
hey, listen, I'm not denying
automatic rocket
that.
launchers.
I'm not denying that, but that is exactly what they need to do. I think when it comes to this whole keep games alive initiative or stop killing games, it's as simple as allow people to, like the single player portion of it, remove online access or online requirement. Right? If there's a multiplayer aspect to the game, allow people to host their own servers. It's as simple as that. All right. I
Makes
don't
sense.
think there needs to be anything else. What you're saying, hacker, about the thumb drive and whatnot, I mean, that just really depends on how big the game is. I mean, I don't think it changes anything whether or not it's digital or not.
Well,
I don't.
I
I
made
don't
the
think the game stores
I
are
think
going
I
to
think
be
having
going
the thumb
away.
drive just makes the game last longer because you can't damage a
Yeah.
CD drive, a
Right.
CD.
That
Yeah.
was my argument as to why
Yeah.
like the physical medium needed to evolve too, right? We used to have the cartridges
I
that we
agree.
blow into and whatnot, and then you
Well,
moved on to the
y'all were
compact
blowing
disc.
into them because y'all was messing up y'all cartridges.
Or whatever, but like we once that evolved, we evolved to the compact disc, then we went to digital, but we're getting jip, man. I mean, it's like what cable is to Netflix and Hulu and all these other subscriptions. Like when you look at it, assuming that you're not like trying to run through gymnastics of trying to like use credit card points and features, or what card that you have that gives you a discount or whatever on whatever streaming, or what phone service is giving you free Netflix or whatnot. Like, if you just pay for that stuff by itself, it's more expensive than cable. And I think everybody at this point realizes that. At this point, most people are like, man, just give me cable back. You know what I mean? And digital is sort of that same quagmire. We not only are we giving away ownership of games we're sunsetting them and killing them off, but like we are also losing access to some of the games and killing off the medium, right? I mean, if you think about, for example, movies, in the aspect like, okay, I want to watch a movie from like 1995 just because, like, what you remember all of the college movies or whatever from back in the day? I forget, they used to run like all of like big summer movies, and they were like, box office hits essentially. I'm drawing a blank on some of the movies, but like,
what did you say? Who's
they were like a lot of like college based, like, not comedies really. Like they were like college based comedies, and people would go to college, get drunk, and do all this stuff. And I'm drawing a blank on the name of some of the movies.
Like American Pie.
Man, that's all I was gonna say.
Yeah, like for example, like American Pie was like one of the big ones too, right? So like those are classics. Can I find that on Netflix right now? Can I find that on Hulu? Can I find that on Disney Plus? I probably can't. But like if I had a physical library, like, and if the medium moved and allowed me to play it, right? And there's a name of a company that would allow you to like host your own server and be able to stream it and stuff like that. And I mean, people are still using it, but like there's plenty. There's plenty. I mean, outside of a bootleg version, there's plenty of ways that you can host your own stuff if you really want to. People do it. There's services out there that help you do it. So I mean, I think, yeah.
And
bootleg are making a comeback.
Yeah. On the point of view saying like we're getting jibbed, I mean, it does seem like our brains are getting finessed the more I think about it. Because going back to the second point, like if I'm a collector, I can go back and own an Atari. I can go back and pass off the games that I played as a kid to my son, compared to now, the age we're in, where it's like, all right, once the PS5 gets phased out now and you've bought all digital the entire time, Now, what do you have to show for it other than just a paperweight just sitting there that you can't actually play? You can kind of just tell stories of, yeah, back in my day, we used to play this game and that game and that game. But the finesse is you can play it because guess what? When PS6 and 7 and 8 come out, guess what's going to happen? Remastered. Because we see what they love doing now. For the cheap price of a full price like it's a new game, you can play the remastered version on this new console. So don't worry about that old one that you bought it like 10 times and you keep losing access because the system's keep getting phased out.
We're going to give you access again.
Full price again.
Remaster.
Yeah, so I do feel like we're getting finesse now, like with the whole digital only thing. And collectors wise, it's like, what are collectors going to show now? It's just like a screen, just a slideshow of the game titles that they purchased on their console. It's like you can't really show off your collection anymore now with all digital.
Yeah, bro.
I will
they don't
say,
even give you a booklet, bro. They don't even give you a booklet in the games anymore.
Yeah, they don't even give booklets in the physical copies anymore.
I was lucky enough. You're lucky enough to even receive certain booklets in certain games, bro. You're lucky. You're lucky. But that's only because of small companies, of small groups of developers who say, listen, we really cherish and love video games. So you know what? We're going to put this game out and we're going to make a booklet for these guys. And we're going to actually...
So I will say one small win for the consumer is like, PEGI versus ESRB, where ESRB is the Entertainment Software Rating Board that operates in North America, while PEGI is the Pan-European Game Information, and they essentially rate games, right? And of course, we have extensively talked about gaming and microtransactions. I think one small win is that PEGI and a lot of ownership rights and protections really are coming out of Europe, honestly, because PEGI is based in Europe, and both gambling and microtransactions are stricter, and they're introducing new sort of rules and regulations on gaming to kind of take a pause on some of what I think are potentially some of the more harmful stuff, or some of the more harmful behaviors, I think, that we're kind of seeing in gaming. So I think when we think about, where we can take some wins for ownership rights, a cutback on microtransactions, and kind of forcing gaming companies to really take a much more thoughtful approach to how they introduce and want to decide to scale in terms of the product that they're offering to the consumers in terms of games. Like, Europe is certainly like proving to be one of the forefronts on that battle, I think, when we think about ESRB and PEGI. So,
okay, so with the ESRB and PEGI situation, I understand that one of them, I think it's it's PEGI that.
PEGI is out of Europe. It's the Pan-European Game Information.
Right. So I think it's PEGI that is like overhauling their system and changing how their ratings are and their risk metrics for the games. I think they're changing.
Yeah, that's one of the core
from, like, let's say like Call of Duty, or something even like a Grand Theft Auto, where it's rated like 18 and above. But I think they're changing their ratings to like a 16 and above now. So what do you think about something like that, where it's like, being 16, I'm going to say I was playing GTA well before 16, you know what I'm saying? But, going into the store here and they say, well, you need to be 18 or older and have a parent buy the game, versus, oh, you just need to be 16 and older to buy the games. Like, what do you think?
Right now it's 17 for the rated M games. You have to be 17 or older to buy them.
Okay. Yeah, I think one of the core difference though is the fact that PEGI is now taking into account if a game has a ton of microtransactions, and you have to buy, after you buy the game, you can buy more stuff within the game, and it's related to microtransactions, and it sort of resembles a lot of like gambling and slot machines, like we talked about. For example, Call of Duty having a lot of like neon bright lights and things like that. Like those are kind of
isn't the same. Isn't that like a randomized? They're saying if it's a randomized loot box situation versus saying this pack or whatever this cosmetic kit is, this is what you're getting in it. This is how much it costs. I think there's
Yeah,
a
that falls
difference between both of those.
that falls back into the gambling aspect, right? Because like you don't know necessarily what your actual chance of actually winning it. It could be extremely low, so that like it could be extremely low, and it's just like a slot machine, right? Like you're
What
pulling
if
on a low
they?
thing. You don't know what your actual chances are. You could keep losing, but it requires you to continue to spend a lot more money, and then it becomes a lot more
What
potentially
if?
a bit predatory from the perspective of like loot boxes, and that's I think the consumer protection that's sort of happening there, and kind of forcing companies to be a little bit more either be a lot
Transparent.
more upfront and more transparent in terms of what they're trying to your actual chances of winning that loot box is, or they're gonna up the rating on the game to force people to, hey, be more mindful of when you buy this game, because if you decide that you're going to buy this game or you're going to let your kid play this game, know that it has some potential predatory behaviors in this
I've
game.
s-
So we're going to
I've
rate
seen
it
some.
at more mature than.
I've seen some companies actually release the statistics, like the percentage of you gaining things from a loot box, right? Does that cover them if they just say, hey, if you're going to buy this thing, there's a 2% chance
No,
that you're going to get
and
it?
and I don't, and because a 2% chance. I mean, okay, and sometimes do they actually show it? Is it third party
Yeah.
companies or is it the
No,
actual
no,
No,
the
company?
no.
actual
Some
company.
companies have to release it. Like
Yeah.
Apex was forced actually to release the information on how what's the percentage of you getting an heirloom. I don't know. I know you guys don't really play Apex, but on Apex, most of the characters have like a specific weapon heirloom, and there's a chance to get it in the draw system, but the thing with Apex is you don't have to buy the loot boxes. They're you get them by just playing the game. If you want to purchase it, sure, purchase it, but your chance to getting the heirloom doesn't change whether you purchase the loot box or if you earn it just playing the game. It's
I
still
would
under a 1% chance of getting one
I
randomly.
would argue if it has that core system in it, I think PEGI should flag it higher. In terms of their rating, like it's not safe for a 10-year-old to buy. It's not safe because it
Yeah, but why
has
would where is a 10-year-old
gambling
getting
be,
money to
So,
gamble on loot boxes?
from the
yeah, I
from
was
the
about to
parents,
say.
but it might
What
not
do you
necessarily
mean?
from the parents, man. Like I mean, it's to say like Nintendo, right? Like your kid comes to you and says, "Oh, I want to buy this game," and you might put
No,
your kid on an allowance, or like, and what if your
no.
kid,
No,
like
no,
if your
he's right.
kid, if
No,
you
no,
put your
Billion
kid
is
on an
right.
allowance, if you
Hold
put,
on,
let's say
what?
you have your kid on an allowance, right? Like you put no no guardrails on what your
But
allowance,
why are
like
we
what
not
your kid
putting
can spend
guardrails on our children for
Yeah,
on
exactly.
on what they can buy, for example, like if they decide to buy a game or whatnot. Like when I say buy a game, I mean if they buy a game and they want to buy things in the game. I mean, you
no?
like some
You want all
like
right? So
believe
you
it or
want
not,
to?
some parents are not probably doing that.
That's
That's their
understandable, but you
problem.
want to know why I'm saying that because I have two nephews and they're fairly young, 7 years old and like 5 years old, and they play Roblox. There are some parents that pay for like the monthly subscription for Roblox so they get Roblox points or whatever so they can buy items. But my nephews, they don't get that. And they say, hey, I want Robux to buy this. No, play the game. You don't need Robux to enjoy the game, to buy other items. But if I wanted to gift them some Roblox, sure, because I use the money out of my pocket to give them to purchase an item. But they don't get to make the decision to say, I want to buy this. You got to buy it. LZ, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, just I disagree as far as their access to it. I think this day and age, you can walk into a CVS and get a PlayStation card and load that up or a Roblox card. So truthfully, if you give them allowance for lunch, they could be going to school and pocketing that and figure
Yeah,
out a way. I mean, if they're old enough,
yeah.
stop by CVS, grab a Roblox card, and now they have, so
I
it's
think
possible for them to do it
I
Hold
without.
on.
think I
There's
think the
there's a little
rating
bit
thing.
more to that.
I think specifically the rating thing here though is much more at informing parents who aren't gamers and didn't grow up gaming like we did, who have kids who may be interested in gaming, and providing that protection to not allow your kid to get introduced to these gambling behaviors, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's really detrimental to a kid to be introduced to these gaming behaviors very early on as a mechanic that they should have the forefront to. And so if you put that label and say, okay, you're buying your kid this game, know that we have rated it here for this reason. And that should be a red flag to say, man, why is this game? Why is Roblox rated 17? All I saw was little blocks of whatever. Or why is, some other cartoon game rated this thing? That should raise the red flags. And you should be, as a parent, really be questioning, like, hey, like, this thing is rated at an age that doesn't seem to add up to what I'm seeing on the cover.
I
I'm
agree
let you
with.
go really quick, but just my thoughts on it really quick. I do agree that these things should be flagged because I know grown adults who can't control themselves who are addicted to slot machines, and these in my opinion are like slot machines. Some people that are addicted to these slots are addicted to the unknown, the thrill of I might possibly get it, but I cannot, and the
Right.
dopamine level spikes. And to be training
Right.
a little kid to get these dopamine level spikes and playing slots at that young age, I think as a parent, I'd want to know if they're having these practices in there. I wouldn't want to be training my kid with that. So
I understand that.
I 100% agree. That's pretty much what I was going to say. Is like they should be definitely labeling those type of things because that does change what the game is quite a lot, and especially the effects that it has on children. But outside of that, I don't see anything else that can be done outside of letting people know what it is. What you guys were
Right.
saying earlier about somebody can just go buy a card and buy something, technically true, but also at the same time, you should probably know what your kids are doing,
I agree with
especially
that.
if they're online. I'm not like the way that I see it, you need to be the parent. It shouldn't be some company parenting your children on what they play. So,
Facts.
hey, if you give them access to it and they get into it, that's on you.
Facts.
Because
Did you guys watch?
What
Did
do
you
you
guys
expect me
watch
to do?
WWDC, the Worldwide Developers Conference from Apple? So one of the things that they seem to concentrate on at WWDC with the new introduction of the iOS features for iOS 27.
Asking permissions. I remember seeing
Yeah,
that.
they introduced these new capabilities, and they're really one of the, like, I mean, they've always had it, where they slowly have seemingly tried to introduce these like capabilities or features that allow you to have much more control over what the content that your kid is kind of consuming. You know what I'm saying? So I think that not all companies do this, right? Like, you can't, the expectation on that, just because, like, there's so many things that your kid can watch. I mean, like, even YouTube has like these flags now on the type of content, and making sure, like, they flag it as like, oh, this is content that's created for kids, because you don't know what kind of rabbit hole that your kid might go down, right? Like, and they have like the new YouTube for kids kind of thing to protect your children from seeing unsavory things online. So, like,
Unsavory things still
but those
show up
are
on YouTube Kids.
but
Crazy.
that's
You mean
not, those
you
are
mean like
too
this
large.
podcast?
Yeah. So those are like two big companies, right? I mean, we're talking about YouTube and Google and Apple, right? Those are large companies that have the ability and the teams, the technological know-how to develop these capabilities. But what about other platforms? You know what I'm saying? So I think, having ratings like this, specifically when it comes to gaming mediums, is absolutely essential, because it's really the only mechanism that you really have to prevent to guardrail your kids, because unless you're sitting right next to them on the couch, you don't know what your kid is doing in a room playing a game once they're on that PlayStation.
Right.
The way that I see it, no matter what type of protections you put in, the parent needs to be the absolute final guard for their kids, right?
I don't know.
Because
I don't know about.
no, they have to be because I mean, I'm not promoting it, but kids can get around that, make their own accounts, do things on their own, and pretend to be an adult so that they have no guardrails. right? If
Well,
anybody is tech savvy,
one of the things that are coming up now too is, and we didn't even touch on this, but they're introducing the, I think they're introducing the facial recognition stuff to be able to verify your actual age now, to be able to say, and it's not just I upload my driver's license kind of deal. It's like I think some games are requiring that you do like actual
Oh,
take a picture of my face kind of
what
thing.
game is requiring that so I can not buy that?
GTA. Oh, you already bought it. You already bought it.
No,
You
GTA.
already bought it. Yeah, yeah,
I
yes,
haven't heard
yes,
anything
dude.
about having facial.
There's gonna be
ID.
age. There's gonna be age verification, I believe, for
We
GTA
will see
6.
about that. That game will be
Yeah,
getting.
there's gonna be. Yeah, there's gonna be. It's gonna be. If you want to play the online component, I am certain, and I know that because it has to, primarily because of PEGI coming out in Europe. And if you don't want to take an approach like Apple did, right, where
All right, but hold on.
Apple
Wait a
was
second.
forced
Wait a
to
second.
introduce USB Type C in Europe, and so they just had to forcibly do it worldwide because otherwise you're separating the manufacturing pipeline.
One
but
second,
but
right?
my
One second,
my
guys. If they're gonna ask for this, right? Are they gonna ask for this every time you log in online to do a facial ID scan, or is it gonna do a facial ID scan? For example, it's my PlayStation. I scan. I'm on my online account, and then somebody comes, my younger brother, my nephews, or something, and then they hop on my account to play.
that's
Is
my
it gonna
point.
ask them to do a facial ID scan to play?
So
Exactly.
let me introduce this thought. PlayStation has already seemingly, or Sony has already seemingly introduced the notion that they want to verify who you are if that system has been turned off after a certain amount of time, like 30 days, for example. And that is introduced from the perspective of, oh, we don't want hackers um, basically just like turning over our games or abusing our games or whatever in a specific kind of way. What's to prevent them from saying, oh, you haven't turned on your system in 5 days or 10 days or 30 days, and now we want to verify who
Sales.
you are again? Yeah, huh?
But that
Sales.
doesn't get
That's where I'm gonna leave
Well,
it.
well, I mean, sales, they're forced to, right? Like you're constrained if it becomes if it becomes the law of the land, and particularly in Europe. And I can't imagine that they would have software written in. I mean, they probably can. I mean, they most definitely can. But I would assume that they would not waste the effort of having two different legal strategies from the perspective of having software written that matches Europe specifically, and then they in North America they do something different. Because what's to prevent somebody from using a VPN and making it look like they're in North America rather than Europe, which is the reason why I think that if they introduce the age verification thing, not only will it have facial recognition, they'll have the identity verification, and they're going to do it both in Europe. If this wins out, they'll do it both in Europe and North America and throughout the rest of the world.
I still don't see how that's going to prevent kids from getting to it. Because imagine this scenario, right? Little hacker junior, hey, I want to get on the game, and you go let him into the game. Well, that's still on the parents' fault. It bypasses
There's two
every
layers.
single thing.
There's two layers there. The first layer is I'm buying my kid a game and it's rated at 18. They're not 18. So I need to be aware of that, right? That's the first layer. The second layer is the age verification on the actual platform itself, right? So if your kid has to come to you and say, "Oh, I need to be verified in age," that's the second time now you should have seen a red flag as to what it is. And I agree, it is on the parent, but I'm saying there's multiple layers for the parent to be able to be triggered and say, I'm noticing some weird things that essentially don't line up. What is in this game so much that I need to be verified, that you need to be verified to be 18 years old or older?
Yeah, exactly. And so here's the thing. When it comes to some of these more mature games, right now, kids can't buy them, period. Right? I can understand in the concept of something like Roblox where there's a gambling aspect to it. Yeah, you should be notified of that, and maybe the rating on it needs to change. But in terms of letting kids who shouldn't be playing a more mature game, parents were already not like paying attention. Adding more things in the way, I don't know if that's necessarily going to get more people to pay attention. They might just find it annoying that, hey, I gotta go let them play this game every time. That I guarantee you is still going to be lazy people out there. and that is a
Yeah, I
problem
mean that's guaranteed.
that's a problem we can't fix with any amount of software, right?
But I think the notion here is and that's a minority. If you have someone who is neglectful, that is generally, I would hope that they're good in the world, that we can expect that the majority of parents
Good
would
in the
be.
world.
Yeah, the parents would be a little concerned if they had to verify that
Listen,
many times. So
Yeah,
there's
all right.
people in this world that I question. Like, I don't know. Like, some people, they just don't care, and those are the same people who are going to then see their kid playing something and it's like, how did you get this? And then they're pissed off, and then we have these type of discussions.
Right. So, with that being said, I think we're going to bring this episode to a close here. Maybe we pick up on this topic on a later episode. But before we go, closing thoughts. What do you guys think about the conversation that we had today about some of the topics? Of course, GTA being one of the biggest headers here.
Y'all took off for that national holiday, right?
oh,
Yeah.
guaranteed.
All right, just making
We're gonna
sure.
start with you. What are your closing thoughts?
I think GTA 6 is a little bit diabolical, and I think there's a little bit of a master plan in terms of GTA 6, in terms of story expansion. I think the Steam machine is way overpriced, and it underperforms. It's a little bit, but I do think that they are constrained. I think that Valve has a history of waiting on to the last minute, and I think hardware prices just kind of forced them to charge a diabolical price, and it's just a lay of the land as it exists. No one's buying Xbox because their price increased. They're not buying them probably even more. No offense to Xbox. I think Asha Sharma is trying her best. But again, same thing with Valve. It's just a lay of the land. Stop killing games initiatives. Gamers need a win. We need some wins, massive wins in terms of ownership rights. Same thing here in terms of gambling and microtransactions in games. And in terms of PEGI versus ESRB, yeah, same thing here. Gambling and microtransactions. So overall, I'm excited for GTA 6, man. It's going to be it's very exciting.
For sure. Shells, I haven't heard from you much this episode. What are your closing thoughts now?
I'm just gonna say we gotta fight for physical gaming, man. I don't care what nobody says. I'm a collector, and physical gaming means a lot to me. I know right now we're trying to move into this whole digital age, and I know Rockstar is the one that's gonna lead us into that movement all the way because they can. Um, but we need physical gaming. Rockstar, just give us more, man. You know, we're dedicated, loyal fans. We out here trying.
Otherwise, I won't pre-order until January.
Bro, I mean, everybody is trying to keep a low profile until November 19th. You know, everybody's trying to stay alive. Everybody's just trying to like dodge everything that they could dodge just to try to make it to GTA 6. So you got to give us a little bit more. Give us some dope artwork so we could, hang it up in our room, in our walls, in our living rooms, something that we could decorate our houses with. That's all I'm saying. Because we got to keep the soul in the gaming. We this is what made us. We see the inspiration, we see the decoration with the pieces of the way how Grand Theft Auto's designed. Give us that map. Give us that map, man. Give us that poster. That's all I'm saying. And Xbox, I know right now, man, they raising the price, but it seems like everything in gaming is being increased. So I get it, I understand it, but let's just make gaming fun again. That's all I'm gonna say.
I like it. I like it. So with that being said, LZ, what are your closing thoughts?
I think I said everything I wanted to say. I don't really have much for the closing thoughts, honestly.
All right. Well, that's it. We're gonna leave it there. And Caveman, what about you?
All right, let me put it as simple as this: GTA is the goat. Steam machine's a nope. For, for the Stop Killing Games initiatives, companies, I need you to do the right thing. And for the Peggy stuff, man, watch your kids. Simple as that.
All right. I like it. I like it. As for me, you already know, man, huge GTA stan. I can't wait for GTA to come out. I do agree with Shells. Give us a little bit more. I want that collector's edition. I don't care how much it costs. It needs to cost under 200 though. But yeah, don't drop a collector's edition that's $400. But give us more. I do want more. I don't want to see physical copies die. I don't want to say I'm a big collector, but the games that I do love, I do collect them. I've bought the collector's edition for like a Call of Duty, even like Call of Duty Ghosts that came in a box and a metal tin and stuff. Like I bought that, and everybody hated Ghosts, but I do want to see physical copies stay around. As far as Steam, I could care less. I wasn't buying a Steam machine anyways. PEGI also agreed with Cave. Watch your kids, man. If they want it, nope. You just say no. It's easy to say no. Once you say no one time, you can do it again. Other than that, man, this was a great episode. I think we had a great conversation. The topics that we had here were legendary. You know what I'm saying? History is on the way, man. Y'all just need to stay alive for another 140 days or so to see GTA 6 make it here, because this is definitely a historic moment. But as always, like, subscribe. If you see the hype button, hit that hype button. Hype our channel up. We need the hype. We're going to be extra hype when GTA 6 drops. Leave a comment in the comment section. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you think about the show. Let us know if you want us to talk about any other games or any other topics out here that you guys are interested in. Other than that, as always, this is the Endgame, and we are out.